battery is really the heart of a battery electric vehicle. And so there's several elements in terms of sustainability that the battery really supports. For us, our batteries are designed to be first recyclable. And there's a lot of development that's happening in this space. And we've at Ford invested in a new working laboratory called Ford Ion Park. That's to be based just outside of Dearborn, Michigan. That's going to drive, high volume battery cell delivery, better range, lower costs, as well as developments in the recycling opportunities to kind of create that circular economy. On the other side of it, in the commercial segment, our fleet customers that we're trying to satisfy, and not just retail, need improved data and services. And that helps them to lower their total cost of ownership, increase their productivity and uptime, and thereby improving their energy use efficiency for every trip that they're making, and ultimately be able to assess the battery pack state of health for potential second and third use cases. So definitely the technology and the software and the development around battery packs is key to sustainable growth in this area.
Just taking the macro view, obviously there's major connections with the battery electrification on the EV side. I think on the transportation segment, I think it was something like 16% of transportation today accounts for the global footprint on greenhouse gas emissions. So I think bringing in electric vehicles automatically eliminates the tailpipe emissions and brings that flexibility on how you charge the electric vehicles. So I think when you look at the life cycle emissions of electric vehicles, there's going to be some dependency on the fuel mix or the green energy. And I think batteries come in again in terms of energy storage and helping stabilize, our ill-equipped grid and also remove some of the barriers that existed previously for green energy. And what's interesting is, it's the same underlying technologies for both the EV side and the ESS side to help drive things forward. And I think if you continue to look at the life cycle emissions of electric vehicles, I think, Charles, you brought up the point about recyclability and reuse. And I'd say that obviously reuse is going to make a better impact on this, carbon footprint rather than developing new batteries for applications, being able to reuse whenever possible. And to do that, there's a lot of technology that has to come together, to make an impact. And I think even on the recycling side, it's still nascent, right? There's not a lot of used batteries coming off the market today. And I don't think we have a really good handle yet, the carbon footprint on the recycling side. So I think there's probably some techniques and different methods of recycling that will impact carbon footprint as well.
We use Gina's great wireless battery management system in we call it a cell module assembly. It's basically a 48 volt, mini pack that you have with that. You got a plus and a minus for the power. You got some cooling ports going into it. And then everything else is wireless where you can reconfigure it and it'll identify what's its use and then how should it be used with that to work with the master operating system. And so if you look at the life cycle, you kind of start off with, okay, how do we, as the industry is expanding, how do you actually get ethically sourced, high quality material? We signed a development agreement and a commercial agreement with Controlled Thermal Resources in the Salton Sea in California to take a geothermal plant and essentially with that steam and that water that they're getting out of the geothermal, you run it through a direct lithium extraction method. It's kind of like a water softener where that brine will then go through that water softener. You can pull the lithium out of it, getting really good results from that. Some of it's coming out as single crystal. And then we're going to have that go feed our stock. But at the same time, how could that direct lithium extraction work on some of the life cycle black mass that comes out to say, now I'm going to go have that lithium work with that same direct lithium extraction. And so as we're ramping up, we're keeping an eye on not only the ramp market, how do you get the material you need out of the mines now, but when you get to a mature market, 90, 95% of this is recyclable. How do you have that same capital work and reinvest on it? And so it's a really exciting time to work in this area.